Hello everyone, Strange Sims here, and welcome to another build video. This time we are building in Strangetown, my old stomping ground. Strangetown is one of my favorite neighborhoods, and growing up I played this particular neighborhood to death and back. So a lot of things happened and I really love being back here. So to start off, I had an idea of doing a modern house. I have not done a modern house. Well, this is not a completely modern, you'll see what I mean. But it was, again, inspired by that style. It is very, very simple in the look. It wasn't, there wasn't any sort of ins and outs, but I really, really wanted to do something a little bit different this time, and I think it turned out pretty okay. There is this giant patio that's covered. Essentially, half of the house is interior and the other half is outside. In fact, the outside portion is much larger. And again, this is another reason why I chose to do it in Strangetown other than any other neighborhood. Strangetown is the only desert location, and it does make sense that they would have an outside that's gonna be, that can be as big as an indoor. Windows. These windows, I remember when I first saw them, I fell in love, and I was like, yes, I want to do that. So I decided to use those particular windows. I really like them, and I've used them in the haunted house build, but I really like how they look, and here I just kind of went nuts with them. And this is me figuring out how do I want to make it look. But I decided to do, well, something a little more non-traditional with a lot of glass. And because there is a lot of windows in this build, I am sometimes really shocked how much I've done. Here we have, of course, the pool. I was like, okay, this is definitely not gonna be a starter home. This is gonna be just a home. So I was like, go nuts with it. So that's what I did. The roof of the house is actually very simple, but I think it works because it's really simple and because there's so much room in the... I could have done that. Sorry, I just kind of thought of something. I decided to go with a little bit more color, and of course me figuring out, do I want some sort of things, and I was like, nah, let's not do that. And here's me building the interior. So the kitchen is actually very tiny comparing to, well, how big the house is, but I do think it works. So we have, of course, the fridge and the stove. And this is where I'm like, okay, can you... And I was like, oh, you can't. Eee. And I had to just kind of switch things around. I decided to go monochromatic with the coloring because it's just a lot easier when everything is in one location and I can't make a wall. Well, I'll do a half wall, you'll see what I do later on. Right now, I'm trying to figure out what sort of lighting do I want. Now, these are perfect for some type of builds, but I was like, nah, that's not what I want. And there's a lot of room here, so I was like, okay, let's put a bin in the back over there. And let's see, let's do a shelf. And I was like, okay, do I want to do it there? And I was like, no, do it here. And then I added kind of a reading nook here, you'll see. I think this is where I was like, okay, I need some sort of divider. And I was like, okay, this could work. And I was like, okay, that looks good. It's really funny. And I was like, okay, we can do maybe a table with the PC, because there is only one bedroom. This is a one-bedroom house. It's not multiple bedrooms, so it doesn't have to be all in one place. And this is of course me also trying not to fall back onto using any sort of custom content, so that, you know, it would be easier to just download and place rather than lose a few items. And this little nook, I was like, what am I gonna do with it? There is this wall and it's dividing and everything, and I want to put something there. But I was like, I was like, yeah, let's do a tank. When in doubt, use fishes. And we're on to the bathroom. I think I didn't use the sinks that are normally used. I guess when I'm building natural houses, as in I have no idea who's gonna live there, I do tend to just kind of go with whatever I like at the moment. Over, you know, when I have a family I play in, and I try to essentially make houses for them specifically. Here, this is just kind of very, well, I wouldn't call it basic, but there is a limit of how much I can make it unique. But I think I did a really good job at kind of keeping it really sleek, I guess. That would be the word. And this is where I was like, okay, let's figure out the wallpaper. Because it's monochromatic, I was like, okay, we need some dark colors. So here's me trying to find out what it is that I want. The living room, quote unquote, is actually not dark, it's white. While the kitchen is kind of dark, so it's a little bit different. And this is where I was like, what sort of tiling do I want on the floor, especially in the living area, because it's not that good. It's kind of a unique shape, but I was able to actually make a fake carpet and it worked really well. And after that I was like, okay, we're gonna be using wood for everything. mostly because I really did like how it looked. This is also another element where I was like, okay, I need something unique, but I also didn't want to completely do it. I was like, okay, this could work. And I actually do like it in the end. It really is very simple, but has a bit of a oomph to it. And we go on to the bedroom. This is another one that I was like, okay, let's have a little fun with the wallpapers. And it's very light. I think the house is either on the darker or the lighter side, but I don't think I ever made it too dark or too bright that you can't watch. And here we go, the little hallway was like, okay, I need to put some stuff in here. We need a mirror, and I was like, okay, no, not that. Okay, let's put that one, and I think I put one plant that I later on exchanged for a different thing. No, I wanted to do that, but no. In fact, I could have done it in the patio, but I kind of forgot. Oops. And we're finally onto the bedroom now. The bedroom was another one that I kind of did not know what I wanted to do. Because on one end, I wanted to make it modern, on the other, there are certain elements that are just not made in the style. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to just kind of leave it be. But in the end, it doesn't turn out too bad. I think it's because of the coloring scheme. I think it just kind of works in the end, and you know, it's not the best, but surprisingly it works. This is me figuring out, do I want to place it here? Do I want to place it in here? And I was like, okay, I'm going to place it here. Move that, and I think it looks good. But there is this whole center that's kind of empty, and I was like, I don't know, I don't like that. But in the end, I don't really have much of a choice. And I was like, okay, let's have a little bit of fun with the carpet. And yeah, it does look good and it does work for some reason, so yeah. This is once again me forgetting that you can't put ceiling lights outdoors. So I was like, oh god. Just a little bit of lights here and there, and yeah, we don't have traditional dining area. We do have outside, you know, outdoorsy one, and I really do appreciate it. And I decided to use these chairs because they're really, really unique. There's this, I guess it's kind of like a sofa. Here's where I was like, I need a 3-tile table, but I couldn't find any that fit. And I was like, okay, this one could work. Because many of them were elegant looking rather than what I needed. And this is of course me once again trying to figure out what sort of lighting do I want to do. And of course the protections, we have to replace them because this is not a cheap house. I actually don't think I've ever looked at how much it is, so yeah, that's me just ignoring everything. And this is where I was like, okay, what do I want to do in this area? I was like, okay, let's put in a few lounge chairs and do a table with chairs, and it actually looks pretty good. And of course the telescope. I mean, this is Strangetown, of course we're gonna have a telescope. Who doesn't want to have it? And this is me once again trying to figure out what do I want to do, because the traditional pool tile does not work for what I'm doing. So I was like, okay, let's make it a bit different. I was like, okay, this one looks good. And this is where I was kind of like trying to figure out, okay, how do I want to do this? Trust me, this is where I was like, okay, this is too much. Too much. I think it's gonna draw a lot of attention to it without necessarily needing to. And I was like, what's this? And I was like, no, it's too much. It's too much. I want to do that? No, everything's too much. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, it still looks too much. And I was like, okay, wait, we can do this. And I did this, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. It draws attention, but it doesn't draw attention away from everything else. What do I want to do for the landscaping? I'm like, this is a desert. And I didn't, give them fake grass like the Smith household has it. So I was like, okay, let's just put a few trees and a few cacti around. I think it would work. And I think that's it. Yeah, these are the images. It's a very, very simple house, but I do like how it looks. And I don't necessarily completely love it. There are certain elements I think I could have done a little better if I either had some more items or I was more awake when I was doing this. And the house is finished. If you want to see more, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!